Hi folks, this is Vicki from patternprincess.com. Today I'm going to show you how to work the stitches for this. This is a beautiful mesh stitch here, and then this is a kind of a little bit slightly modified berry stitch. I just wanted a little bit of a definition, not not a real puckery little bobble. So I just have a little bit of a modified berry stitch here, and this is done in white, Caron Simply Soft White, and I'm going to tell you what Baby Sunshine Yellow, and there's two skeins of Baby Sunshine and one skein of white. I've used an eye size hook, but this is just a lovely little girl's baby blanket. The border is done with a single crochet first, and then I did a standing single crochet. So I'm going to show you how to, do have another video for doing the standing single crochet too. Just a nice little bit, it's kind of like a double crochet, but not quite. And it just kind of gives like a nice little flat stitch to it. But I just thought it would offset this very nicely. It's a very simple blanket, very easy to make. And I just love the texture. I'm trying to hold it up here close to the phone as I'm taping it here so you can see what beautiful definition this has, and it's so simple to do. If you can do a chain stitch and a single crochet, you are golden. So I'm going to show you how to do it here. I suppose I should quickly tell you the sizes. I did 130 chains. You need to just have any amount of an even stitch, so to make it wider or narrower. The rows, I will make sure I will have a link to the written pattern in the comments. So make sure that you go to the comments to get more information on how I varied the rows, how many rows of yellow and white and things like that. I did a total of 126 rows. And then around the edge, I used white yarn and I did a single crochet. And then the second round was the standing single crochet. And then I always did 3 in each corner. So I'm going to make sure that, I don't think I did tell you the size, did I? I thought I wrote, it's 27.5 inches wide by about 30.5 inches long. So that's the size of this. And again, you can vary the size, whatever works for you. So I'm just going to show you the basics of how I did the stitches here. And so I'm just going to start, if this is the actual, some of the leftover yarn, you can see I didn't have a lot of yarn left over. I used pretty much all of the skeins of yarn that I just told you, but I'm just going to use the leftovers to go ahead and work this pattern for you. And show you some. So the very first thing I have to do is start off with my slip stitch. So I put my fingers through, come around, put my hook in, and pull a loop through. Again, this is always, if you've watched my videos before, you know that that's how my grandma taught me, so that's what I know how to do. Kind of do it in memory of her. So I don't know, I think I'll do maybe 12 stitches. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. So what we're going to do is in the second chain from the hook. So this is the first one. So in the second chain from the hook, we're just going to single crochet. Now, there's a number of different ways you can single crochet. You can single crochet using this top loop. You can turn it over and single crochet in this back bump. Or you could single crochet underneath these two loops. It depends on how much of a hole you want to see when you add your border on. On this particular blanket, and I'm going to bring the blanket back, but it's something I forgot to tell you. I just did the top loop on this one. So sometimes you have too big of a hole, I think, when you add on your border in that first round. So this was my last, this is the end of the blanket. So this is how the stitches look for the end of the blanket. See how nice and snug that is? So I just did the top loop as I did now, and see I have a little bit bigger hole. It's not enough to really bother me too much, but if I were going to do it again, I'd probably go through the 2 loops when I'm starting off this chain. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So on this first one here, I went through the top loop. So if I were going to do it differently, to tighten up that loop, if I wanted to tighten up that hole that you would get at, when you add that border, so it's not so loose, I would actually go underneath both of these top loops, so you only got 1 loop left, and then complete my single crochet. Or I very successfully use the back bump, and that also keeps it from loosening up so much when you put that other. So I would just turn it and then work my single crochet into this back bump, okay, and do that. So choose a method that works well for you for today's purposes, and I completely forgot my count now, so I'm going to quickly go through this and start this again. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to work on the top loop to just show you how to do the stitches of this pattern. But by all means, choose the method that works best for you. So I'm going to quickly count 2, 3, 4, whoopsies, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so single crochet in the second loop from the hook. So here's our single crochet. Chain 1, and then skip 1. And then single crochet in the next loop. Chain 1, skip a chain, and then single crochet in the next one. We're going to do this all the way across. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. Chain 1, whoopsies, skip 1, single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet in the last. You should end with a single crochet. All right, so we have the first row done. So now I'm going to chain 1. I don't know if you need to chain 1 before your turn or after your turn. Just make sure that you chain 1, okay? So it's either going to be at the beginning when you start or at the ending. So you've chained 1. So right back in that very last single crochet that you did, you're going to do a single crochet. So in every single crochet, you're going to single crochet. And then every single chain space, so this is the chain space now. Now you're going to do a chain, you're going to skip that chain space, and you can kind of see in between here, right here, in between here is going to be that another single crochet. So we do a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the space, and see right between these two bars, that's your single crochet of the previous row. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the single crochet space. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, and then make sure you catch the 2 loops. Single crochet in that very last one. Okay, so I'm going to do one more time, one more row of mesh stitch. Chain 1, and I've turned again right into that very first stitch. And this is really nice if you're a beginner. It helps give you single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, but it helps give you really nice edges. So you can make sure that you know, my very first blanket I made, I had a weaving edge and it looked really bad. But I've since then gotten better. There are a few times though when I get mixed up in a pattern I'm trying to develop, or just work somebody's pattern and I get mixed up and it weaves because I haven't done it right. So even those of us that have crocheted a little bit have a problem. So that is the mesh stitch part. And I would just, you know, so I think that the pattern initially calls for 10 rows of the mesh stitch. So the chain 1, go into the single crochet. So you would just do 10 rows of this. And when you really get going, it goes so fast. So this is a mesh stitch part of the blanket. And I did it in yellow. So every time that you saw yellow on the blanket, that was a mesh stitch. And every time I did white, except for the border, it was either the mesh stitch or a bobble, or a little bobble berry stitch. Can't even talk. Okay, so, and here we're going to join the white yarn because I also did each one of the berry stitches in the white yarn. So what I did is I brought my yarn through first. And then I tightened this up. Okay, and then I actually do like a little chain 1 here, and I tighten that. The reason I do that, because now it's really secure, it doesn't go anywhere. And when you sew in your ends, you can't tell that that's there. But I have found more and more if I do that, that I just have the confidence that everything's not going to fall apart and rip apart and pull. So remember we had to do that chain 1 from that previous row. So there's the chain 1. So now in that single crochet, okay, we're going to yarn over in that previous row single crochet spot. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over, bring it through. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, go through 1 loop. We have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, go through that same stitch. yarn over, bring it through. Now I have 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops. Now I'm going to yarn over and bring it all through my hook through all of them. Now, normally with a berry stitch, my next stitch I would go into here and do a slip stitch. This is where it's different. I do a chain 1, skip 1, and then I'm doing another berry stitch on top of the single crochet. Does that make sense? So I yarn over, insert my hook, bring it through, yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, insert my hook in the same one, yarn over, bring it through. I have my 5 loops, and now I go through all 5 loops. Chain 1, yarn over, skip 1. In that single crochet space, I'm going to do a berry stitch. So I'll back it up. Okay, I yarned over in the single crochet, put your hook, grab your yarn, bring it through, grab your yarn, bring it through 1 loop, yarn over again, go through the stitch, yarn over, bring it through. You got your 5 loops, and then now we complete that berry stitch. And now I'm chaining 1, skipping the chain 1 below, yarn over, go through the single crochet, bring it through, yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, go back through the stitch, yarn over, and then yarn over 1 more time and go through all 5 loops. Chain 1, yarn over, go through the single crochet, then we got 3 loops, go through the yarn over, I should say, go through the 1 loop, yarn over, go back through the stitch, yarn over, bring it through. Now we have 5 loops, yarn over and go through all 5 loops. Chain 1, skip 1, yarn over, and you're going to be in the last single crochet. You're going to end with this stitch, yarn over, go through 1 stitch, yarn over, go back through the stitch, yarn over, and then go through all the loops. And now we have a row of kind of berry stitches. Like I said, instead of doing the down here, we would have normally done a slip stitch if you were going to do a true berry stitch. And actually a berry stitch, normally it's like, you usually set the berry stitch up with like 5 rows of crochet, and then there's like repeating rows 2 through 5. So this is kind of like a little poofy buff berry stitch, but I liked it. So then I'm going to turn it, chain 1, okay? Then on top of the berry stitch, right here, put your hook right there, bring it through and single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1. So then on top of every single berry stitch, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. And the next top of the berry stitch, put your yarn through the hook through the yarn, pardon me, and do a single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, and again in those top 2 loops on the top of the berry stitch, put your hook and do a single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, and then here again single crochet on top of the berry stitch. And I got to go through both loops, pardon me. There we go. Single crochet, chain 1, and then on top of the last one, come on here, I'm not seeing it, here we go. But I'm not through both loops, hang tight. You know, sometimes we just struggle, don't we? There we go, chain 1. Now what I did in the pattern, as I always only did it in 2 rows. I never did it more than the white more than this. Then I'd switch back to my yellow. Now I'm going to show you a trick. So I did my 10 rows of yellow, my 2 rows that I just did here of the white, my berry stitch and then my mesh stitch. Then I did 8 rows of yellow. Then I did my 2 rows the way that I just did it here. Then I did 2 rows of mesh, can't even talk, 2 rows of berry, the 1 berry and then the mesh. And then again, I repeated with the 10. Then we started with the color repeat. So here, I cut my yarn off. Here, because I'm only going to carry my yarn a couple rows, I carried my yarn. So when you carry your yarn, if you've never carried your yarn, so there's only about, it's about half the yarn I had to weave in, so it wasn't so bad. So make sure that you have your right piece of yarn here. So I'm going to go to the yellow again. All right. So now I have the hook is on the white. I'm going to grab the yellow, bring it through. Now I'm going to take the white, snug it up, and I'm going to see how that yellow is laying across the side here. It's a little bit snug, but it's not tight. Just make sure that it's not too tight, because you don't want your work to curl up on you. So I'm going to do that one, where I go over, I'm going to do like a little chain, and I'm going to snug it up. Now that's going to keep that really nice and secure no matter what I do. So now my next row is going to be a mesh stitch. So now I'm going to go my chain, pardon me, and then on the top of the first single crochet, I'm going to do a single crochet. And then I do the chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. You can see how fast this starts to go. I just love the look of this. And here we go. So I would continue on with my yellow until I got to my little bobble stitches, my little berry stitches, and then I would do my mesh stitch. But you can see, so this is the side of the work I've been working on. But let me turn it over. You see this? Here's just a little bit of a definition of a bump. It's not a real big bump. It's not like a little berry. It's, like a bigger, it's not like a cranberry on there. It's just a little bit of a definition of a bump. And that's why I tried to show in the pictures in the website when I did the picturing of this Afghan, that's just to try and show how there's a little bit of definition on one side, and the other side there isn't any. It's all nice and flat. But so it kind of gives it two different looks. But this is a beautifully woven feel, nice soft feel to this blanket. It's light, it's soft, it's going to be a beautiful baby blanket. So that's how you do that. And again, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell to make sure you're staying informed. And please, if you want to see the whole written pattern, stop by the website and you will see that too. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Take care.